Okay, so we are moving into Lesson C for our Unit 5 review. Okay, so before we talk about or get into the work of Lesson C, let's talk about what we're going to be looking at in Lesson C. And we are going to be looking at present perfect tense. So just so that we don't get things confused, let's remind ourselves about the present perfect tense. Alright? The present perfect tense is a verb tense which is used to show that an action has taken place once or many times before now. Alright? Once or many times in the past. The present perfect is most frequently used to talk about experiences or changes that have taken place, but there are other less common uses as well. Okay? So we use the present perfect tense to talk about changes or experiences that have taken place in the past. Alright? Present perfect forms. The present perfect is formed by using has, have, right? So this depends on who or what you're talking about. I have, you have, he, she, it has, we, they have, plus the plus the past participle verb. Okay? Questions are indicated by inverting or switching the subject and has, have. Negatives are made with not. All right? So let's look at some examples. In a statement, you have seen that movie many times. Okay? Have seen. If I'm asking a question, I invert or change the subject and has, have, right? So the question is, have you seen the movie many times? Okay? And then negatives are made with not. So our example is, you have not seen this movie many times. Okay? So that is our review of present perfect forms. Let's see what the book wants us to do. So if we open up our student books to page 62, okay, we'll look in number 1, grammar focus, and they want us to use already and yet in our present perfect forms, okay? So use already and yet with the present perfect to talk about actions you expect to happen. Use already in questions and affirmative or positive answers. Use yet in questions and negative answers. Okay? So, here's the yes or no question. Have you bought tickets yet? Short answer, yes I have. Negative short answer is no I haven't. Question, has she already seen the movie? Short answer is yes she has. Negative answer is no she hasn't. Let's talk about positive or affirmative statements. I've already bought the tickets. She's already seen the movie. Let's talk about negative statements. I haven't bought the tickets yet. She hasn't seen the movie yet. Okay? Now, right below that, we have our past participles. And we've talked about this before. Past participles of regular verbs are pretty standard, right? There's not much change there. What we do have to watch out for is when we use past participles with irregular verbs. Okay? That one, American speakers don't use very well, if at all. so sometimes it's hard to practice this. So let's look at the base form of the verb, the infinitive, and then let's see how we change it into the past participle. Okay, so the first one is begin, begun, bring, brought, buy, bought, do, done, get, gotten, go, gone, make, made, pay, paid, put, put, read, read, see, seen, set, set. Okay, so if you need to review this again or a little bit more, scan the barcode and watch a little video about how we use already and yet in our present perfect tense. Alright, we are going to keep going, and now we're going to turn over to page 58 in our workbook and start working on using the present perfect. Study the chart and explanations on page 128. For a list of irregular verbs, turn to page 131. This is useful information if we want to keep, if we want to have a reference to keep, so we can go back and forth to understand how we're going to use the present perfect here. Okay, so the first one is done for us, right? Complete the sentences. Use the present perfect. Have Sue and Martin seen? So seen is the past participle of the verb see. That movie already? Alright. Let's look at number 2. Has Tim blanked dinner yet? So we need the past participle of make. Has Tim made dinner yet? Number 3. We haven't blank the newspaper yet. Here again, our root verb is read, okay? And we can say, we haven't read the newspaper yet. Number 4, have you blank the credit card bill lately? I'm sorry, have you blank the credit card bill already? And we have to use pay, okay? Have you paid the credit card bill lately? I'm sorry, already? Ugh. Number 5, my brother has already blank his ticket, and we have to use buy. Okay. My brother has already bought his ticket. Number 6, have the children blank their homework yet? And we have to use the word do. Have the children done their homework yet? Alright. These are my answers. Hopefully you got the same. Alright, so let's move on. Okay, so let's continue on with page 58, second part. Number 2, complete the sentences. Use already or yet. Alright, first one is done for us here. Well, first let's look at the pictures. Alright, so first picture is, these look like advertisements for something. Alright, so the first one looks like a violin concert tonight at 8:30 p.m. The second one is a sign for open for tea and coffee, so this is a business. It opens from 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. The third advertisement looks like it's advertising a movie matinee special at 5 p.m. The movie matinee runs for 1 hour and 40 minutes. So the running time is 1 hour and 40 minutes. And then the last picture shows a museum. Museum hours, Monday through Saturday, and they're open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and they're closed on Sunday. Okay, so we have to complete the sentences. Use already or yet. Number 1, it's done for us. It's 8 p.m. The violin concert blank. And so if we look here, violin concert started at 8:30. So the violin concert hasn't started yet. Okay. So now let's take some time to complete 2 through 4, and we'll pause the video, take some time, complete that, and we'll come back and I will share what I wrote. Alright, so let's pause the video now, complete 2 through 4, and we'll come back to this. Okay, so hopefully you've had enough time to look at all of the advertisements here and the signs on the right hand side so that we can answer 2 through 4. Okay, so number 2, it's 6:30 p.m. Alright, so it's 6:30 p.m. The coffee shop blank, and the word they want us to use is closed. So it's 6:30 p.m. So 6:30 is past the time that they're open. So I wrote down the coffee shop has closed already. Has closed already. Alright. Number 3, it's 7 p.m. Alright. The movie blank, and they want us to say end. So the movie starts at 5 p.m. and runs for 1 hour and 40 minutes. So if it starts at 5 p.m. it'll be done at 6:40. So that means if it's 7 p.m. the movie has ended already. The movie has ended already. And number 4, it's 9 a.m. The museum blank, and they want us to use open. Well, the museum hours are Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So if it is 9 a.m., then the museum hasn't opened yet. The museum hasn't opened yet. Alright, so those are my answers for that. And hopefully you got the same. Alright, so let's move on and we'll take a look at page 59. Okay, page 59 in our workbook. Alright, let's take a look at number 3. It says, Max and Maria are planning a birthday party. Complete the sentences and answer the questions. Now before we do that, it looks like Max and Maria have a to-do list. Alright, so let's read through their to-do list to find out what they have to do and what they've already done. So let's look at Max first. Bring my CDs. That's checked, so that's done. Get a present. Buy drinks. That's checked, so that's done. Okay, let's look at Maria's to-do list. Invite friends. That's checked, so she's done that. Bake a cake. And then they have a combined list, Max and Maria. These are the things they have to do together. First one is set up tables and chairs, and then put up decorations. That's checked, so that's done. Okay, so now we need to complete the sentences and answer the questions. The first one is done for us. Has Max brought his CDs yet? It says that he has. Bring my CDs, that's checked. So the answer is yes, he has. Okay, so now let's pause the video and do 2 through 7. Alright, and we're going to use the to-do list to answer these questions. Alright, so take some time, pause the video, work on answering questions 2 through 7, and then we'll come back and answer, and I'll show you what I put on these. Alright, so hopefully you've had some time to answer these questions. Let's go through them together and see what we come up with. Alright, so the first one is done for us. Let's look at number 2. I wrote down, has Maria invited her friends yet? Right? Because it says invite friends. And that is checked, right? So I put down, yes, she has. Okay, number 3. Has Max blank a present yet? So he was supposed to get a present. It's not checked. So has Max gotten a present yet? You can also say brought or bought, sorry. Has Max bought a present yet? Or I just use what they put here, get. Has Max gotten a present yet? And that's not checked, so I said no, he hasn't. Number 4, has Maria blanked a cake yet? Now she's supposed to bake a cake. It's not checked. So I would write, has Maria baked a cake yet? And the answer is no, she hasn't. Number 5, has Max blanked drinks yet? Okay, so Max is supposed to buy drinks, and it's checked, so he's done it. So I would write, has Max brought or bought drinks yet? And the answer is yes, he has. Okay, so now we're moving into the to-do list for both Max and Maria. Okay, so now I have to change this. Now I have to ask, have Max and Maria blank decorations yet? They are supposed to put up decorations, and it's checked, so they've done it. So I would write, have Max and Maria put up decorations yet? And the answer is yes, they have. Okay. And the last one, number 7. Have Max and Maria blank the tables and chairs yet? They are supposed to set up the tables and chairs, and it's not checked. Alright, so the question is, have Max and Maria set up the tables and chairs yet? And the answer is no, they haven't. Alright, so those are my answers. And hopefully you got the same. Okay, so that was number 3. Let's look at number 4. Number 4 on page 59. Each of these sentences below is missing a word. Write the sentences with the missing word in the parenthesis. Okay, so the first one is done for us. We haven't gone to the park. The word in parenthesis is yet. So they rewrote this and said, we haven't gone to the park yet. Sounds good. Okay. So now it's time to pause the video and complete 2 through 6. And we have to write the sentences with the missing word in parentheses. All right. Started, you, haven't, have, and has. All right. So pause the video, and then we'll come back and we'll work on this together with my answers. Okay. So hopefully you've had some time to answer these questions. Let's go over them together, and I'll show you what I wrote. Okay, so number 2, because number 1 we've already done, that's been done for us. Number 2, our favorite TV show hasn't yet, and they want us to use started, that's in parentheses. All right, so I wrote, our favorite TV show hasn't started yet. All right, our favorite TV show hasn't started yet. Number 3, have bought tickets for the fundraiser yet? And this is a question, and the word in parentheses they want us to use is you. So I wrote down, have you bought tickets for the fundraiser yet? Have you bought tickets for the fundraiser yet? Number 4, they eaten lunch yet? All right, and they want us to use the word haven't. So I wrote down, they haven't eaten lunch yet. Okay. Number 5, Ivan and Alex already been to that restaurant, and they want us to use the word have. Okay, so I wrote down, Ivan and Alex have already been to that restaurant. Ivan and Alex have already been to that restaurant. And then number 6, Julie visited the art exhibit yet? And this is a question. They want us to use the word has. So I would rewrite this and say, has Julie visited the art exhibit yet? Has Julie visited the art exhibit yet? All right. And those are my answers. Hopefully you got the same. All right. This, I know it's a little tricky. And it took me a couple minutes just to kind of understand what they wanted. Because when you read these without really thinking that you have to insert the word in parentheses somewhere in here, it doesn't make sense. So it's important that you just take your time and try to figure out the answer. All right, and sometimes you might even have to look back in your notes. All right, so great. So this is the end of Unit 5 review so far. All right, we got into A, B, and C. Next week we'll finish up the Unit 5 review. We'll do Unit F, Lesson F, and then we will work on reading some English stories and reading for comprehension. Reading some stories and then asking questions about those stories so that we really learn how to understand what we're reading. All right, and then we can use what we're reading as well. All right, so that's what we will do in our last week, next week. Until then, have a great week and study your English. Please take some time to study as much as you can, or at least a little bit every day, whatever you can, to keep it fresh, because I know it's harder to do this when we're not meeting together as in a classroom. All right, so until then, if you have any questions, let me know. You can email me or send me a message on WhatsApp. All right, take care.